Hello, students. Today we're going to look at a topic that some people dread. Some people they hear the idea of a story problem, a math problem, physics problem, and they start to curl up and cringe in fear. And there's absolutely no reason why you should feel that way. What you need to do, and what I expect from you this year, is that you use a problem solving strategy that will eliminate that anxiety that you feel towards story problems. All right. And here's the thing, I'm saying that I'm expecting you to follow this story problem strategy. And every year I get the same backlash from students. I can just do it in my head. I did it on my calculator. No, I'm going to put this point blank. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, because if I sugarcoat it, you're going to think that there's some leeway, and there's not. Okay. So let me make this as apparent as possible. Your answers are going to be 9 times out of 10 given to you from me. What you have to do is you have to show me how we get those answers. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The process of you thinking logically and sharing how you come up with something is every bit, if not more important than the solution itself. All right. So if you go through and just put down the answer and submit the answer, you're getting 0 credit for the work. All right. You have to show how you got the work, and you have to use this problem solving strategy. There is no if, ands, or buts. Okay. So I can't make it any more clear than that. All right. So all you have to do is you follow along, and I guarantee you, yes, sometimes with the easy problems, it's going to be a little monotonous, but I guarantee you when you get to the harder problems that you normally would shut down on, you're going to breeze right through. So let's look at what this problem solving strategy is. What we begin with is the word guess. All right. That sounds kind of funny that we would go through and look at a story problem and start out with the word guess, but that's what we're going to do. See, with the guess method, we're not going to guess at the answers. What we're going to do is we're going to use the terms givens. So I'm not even going to read this question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and look at the numbers that are given to me. I'm given 96.5, and yes, I am going to put the unit down. It means nothing without the unit of measurement. I have a 5 cubic centimeter. Put down the unit of measurement. Don't put them down, don't get credit. All right, I have to figure out what these are measuring. Grams measures mass, so I'm just going to put M for the variable for it. Cubic centimeters measures volume, so I'm going to put V for it. Now, there are no other numbers, so I'm just going to look at what they're asking me to solve for. It says, what is the density of gold? So that's where the U comes in. It's the unknown. What are they asking me to solve for? Density. So I'm going to put D for density. Now, density, the formula for this is going to be mass per given volume. All right, so I'm going to put down M over V. I do not Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for what the unknown is. That's what the U is. What is the unknown? The unknown is the density. Density, I'll put D for it. Density, the unit for it is grams per cubic centimeter, or you could also have grams per milliliter if the volume were in milliliters. We need the E part now. The E is the equation. The equation, density equals mass per given volume. Now, you wouldn't have to write out the mass and volume, you could write down, you could write down D equals M over V, and that would be just fine. Now, I do not know what your algebra skills are at this point in time. If you are weak in algebra and rearranging equations, I'm going to suggest that you do this on your paper and even in a formula sheet that you guys need to start keeping track of. All right, we're going to put those three variables into this algebra solving, rearranging little diagram. All right, I see the division symbol here where we're going to treat the middle line going across as the division symbol. So I'll put the M on top, V on bottom, just like I see in the problem. And then the blank spot gets the distance, or the density, I'm sorry, density. Now the first S is the substitute. So I'm going to substitute in the variables for the number, or the numbers for the variables. So we'll have density equals, instead of putting in the M, right here, I'm going to put the number 96.5 grams. Instead of putting in the V under the division symbol, I'm going to put what V represents, 5 cubic centimeters. And then the last part, the last S, is the solve part. The solve, you put this into the calculator, and we get density equals, I've got to punch this into the calculator here real quick. We have 96.5 divided by 5. You get 19.3 grams per cubic centimeter. And there's your answer. All right, so everything that is going to be in the green right here, everything that's here, that is what you should have on your piece of paper right now. That's what you get credit for. You do not get credit for putting down 19.3. I gave you that. All right. What you get credit for is showing the process of you going through the work and showing how you got each one of those things. All right. We're going to do 2 more problems. We have the next question. You do not have to write out the GUESS. Okay. I'm going to do it just for the sake of keeping us organized. So we have the guess like this. You always have to start with the givens. What numbers are given to you? We have 35 grams per cubic centimeter. And I see another number that is 0.5 cubic centimeters. I need to figure out what these values are representing. Grams per cubic centimeter is density, so I'm going to put D for that. I have cubic centimeters, that measures volume. I'm going to put V. There's no other numbers here. So what is it that they're asking me to solve for? It says, what would the mass be? So M is what we're trying to solve for, and the mass is measured in grams. I need an equation now. Now the equation that I gave you, density equals mass divided by volume. If you're good in algebra, you know that you're going to have to multiply both sides by V in order to cancel the V out and just have the M by itself. Now, if you struggle with rearranging equations, that's where this little diagram comes into play. See, I'm trying to solve for the mass. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cover it up. And what do I see? I see that distance and volume are side by side. That equals my mass. See how that works? All right, the first S, we're going to substitute our numbers. So we have M equals, instead of putting down the density, I'm going to put 35 grams per cubic centimeter. We'll go times, we have 0.5 cubic centimeters. Now, why do I expect that you put down the units of measurement? Because, see, these two things cancel out. And now I'm left with my mass for the solve. We just take half of 35 17.5 grams. So everything that is here in the green, that is what is expected of you to be on your paper that you're going to submit to me. We have one more problem. So one last question we look at. Again, I'm going to put in the GUESS. You don't have to write it out, but you do have to write down the variables. There is no if, ands, or buts. You're not getting credit unless you put all of the information, the process of you finding the answers down. So we have 96.5 grams, and then I see a 2.7 grams per cubic centimeter. I have to identify what these are. Grams is mass. Grams per cubic centimeter is density. There's no other numbers given to me, so I have to go to the unknown. What are they trying to solve for? Volume. Volume equals question mark. And since I see cubic centimeters in there, that's the volume that I'm going to use for this particular one. The equation, again, density equals mass per volume. Well, we'd have to rearrange that equation to solve for the volume. So you'd have to multiply both sides by V. Okay, that gets rid of the volume on that side, and then you'd have to divide both sides by the density, and you'd get this. Or, you ready? If you use this little diagram right here, you're trying to solve for the density, right? Or I'm sorry, volume. So we'd cover up the volume, and what do I see? I see M over top of D equals the volume. Volume, not velocity. All right, we're ready to substitute some numbers in for that equation. We have V equals, the mass for this was 96.5 grams. The density for this is 2.7 grams per cubic centimeter. Okay, so the last thing that I have to do is put down the solve. So I'm going to plug that into my calculator, and you have 96.5 divided by 2.7 gets you a volume of 35.7 cubic centimeters. So if you just put down 35.7 cubic centimeters, well, I'm going to give it right back to you and give you a 0 until you do fill out how we came up with that answer. All right. So this is the strategy that you're going to have to adopt. All right. Whether you like it or not, this is it. Okay. It's going to be the process we're going to use throughout the whole year. It's the process that you're going to use in Mr. Arnold's class. It's the process that you probably should be using in your math class. Okay. It's showing your work and getting things done right the first time. So if you have any questions, you can ask. But what you need to do is take a picture of the work that you have, submit it to this assignment in Schoology, and then you can move on to our next topic, which is going to be kinematics, study of motion. All right, take care.